Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, we're going to jump straight into this today. As you can see from the title, the thumbnail, I hid the identity of that surprise champion. Well, I feel good about that. We're going to jump straight into this, though, because we have 3 champions to test. Deathless King Groot, I think, will be by far the quickest, the most efficient, whatever. We're just going to get in. We're going to jump to it. If you're watching this on playback, I am going to do my best to go back and put in timestamps. You can kind of just jump to the champion most interested in. You don't have to watch all the various things that you don't want to. I would enjoy, of course, if you watch it, and I know people do enjoy watching it. We will also, just for people who are tuning in about 10 minutes time, 11 minutes time, we will jump over and watch a very short video that I think will be informative on the champion we will be testing in about 15 minutes time. And then we will test them, go through all the things, kind of go over their animations. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat will know different things to try out. We'll go through that. And then I do intend to stream long enough to get a good feel for Prowler as well. We may watch a short video on that as well, just to kind of get that down. I have played Prowler a little bit more, though, than this other champion. And we'll kind of have fun, kind of go through this. And then I will use all of this for, hopefully you all are aware of my monthly tier list and things like that. I will use all of this, what we've learned, to go ahead and place them in the tier list. I won't do that live on stream, but just so you know, this is kind of like the process we go through. And then, of course, I will talk to the Illuminati. We already have some massive, massive fans. One for Deathless King Groot, for Prowler, for absolutely sure. And then I think we're going to have some fans of the champion we'll be testing in about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead. Hey, what's up? I can see people in the chat here. What's up, Rogers? How you doing, bud? Torrance, Boats. Hope you're doing Prowler testing because I'm probably having dinner soon. Yeah, Prowler is going to be probably the last one. I don't think we're going to be testing. What's up, Bitter? And hope you enjoy dinner. I don't think we're going to be testing King Groot here very long. And that is not intended to be a reflection on their power level at all. I think they work best with Thor, if I remember correctly. The amplitude buff. So let's go ahead and remove this from my Hulkling, who I love. We will put it on. Where'd it go? I always feel like the interface for the relics isn't the most intuitive. I don't mind it. I think it's fine, but and I don't have a suggestion on improving it, but I do think it could be superior. So let's go ahead and move through this. What's up, Reed? How you doing, bud? Thanks for being here. What's up, Phil? How you doing, bud? So this is going to be pretty fast, guys, as far as Deathless King Groot is concerned. Simula did a really nice video. If I pull a 2-3, you can see what I was doing there. If I pull a 2-3 Cosmic Gem, I actually may consider them. I have not tested him at rank 2, so I'm pretty intrigued by this. The damage seems really good now, and still has a lot of the positive qualities of the original King Groot. We'll look at the kit very, very quickly in case anyone's unfamiliar with this. This is someone that you can earn and that sort of thing. What part of California am I in? I am in Northern California. I'm in the Bay Area. I'm actually in San Francisco. I was born and raised, but still I can say most of my life in Southern California, though. LA, Orange County, and San Diego. What's up, Eric? All right, so we'll just look at this really quick. It looks like I do have mine at Sig 20. We don't have him awakened yet, do we? How did I get this awakened? We don't have Deathless King Groot awakened in game, do we? Bit Evil, what's up, dude? Thank you so much. Let's get that on the board. I am seriously confused as to how I have my King Groot awakened. I'm not upset about it. Typing skills were never my best. Thanks for being here, Big Evil Man. I appreciate the messages we've had back and forth since I rejoined 4BGs. I don't have either of the Deathless Champs. They're really good, pal. They're fun, dude. One of the Illuminati has us at rank 3. And oh, by the way, too, because I don't want to delay. I know people are going to be excited about the unnamed champion. If we don't finish Deathless King Groot, we'll go back and I'll put them. We'll go back to Deathless King Groot. But so this is the incinerate duration. I remember Simula talking about this. It's to be really nice. I mean, 50% at Sig 20 is really nice. That health doesn't look massive, but we still have immunity to bleed, power drain, and power burn effects. We're seeing these in the game, right? I think that's what Prowler does. So these are some nice kind of common characteristics of your Cosmic Champions. I think your updated Cosmic Champions. The Fury buffs do this stuff, which is great. So he's still going to potentially shrug things for you. You could run him with recoil if you wanted to. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything too wild here that's different in a meaningful way as far as our testing is concerned from the regular King Groot. If you guys see something though and you're like, no, do this instead, let me know. But we'll fight the Star-Lords once or twice. Maybe we'll go fight future Ant-Man. I think this is a really good champion. I am not joking at all. I mean, look at these numbers just right off the bat. Just like out the gate, no armor breaks up, absolutely nothing. Well, when he's not critting. But here we go. We're gonna spend our Fury buffs. These are now permanent armor breaks. That heal is pretty cool. I know I said it wasn't a big deal, but that's pretty darn nice where I come from. Let's go in. I just want to see if this will kill him. I think it will, actually. We've got those ignition buffs. Yeah, I mean, this is a rank 2 Deathless King Groot. That Star-Lord, I think, only has about 200,000 health. I will ask Kabam if they'd be willing, or if it's possible, to increase the health on the lower health champions on the testing pool. There might be other content creators who don't want that, though. So I will not pout or cry or stomp my feet should that not be what they want to do. But I do think it could be helpful for, you know, Battleground Showcase or what have you, that sort of thing. So now we're at, you know, these yellow numbers, dude, are just... See, that's where you can tell I'm from Southern California. The amount of dude. I think that's one of the biggest things. My kids are always like, I'm not a dude. And I was like, well, I'm from everyone's a dude. Kind of wanted to let that hit me. I think he power burns. I don't recall. And actually, that's it's not a for sure, is it? So there's a heavy. I think that pauses things when you don't have your Fury buffs. Let's just see what this does. I know this won't kill. I'm not looking for that. That is a significant chunk of health. So let's go ahead and pause this. Let's keep it up. Okay, not the greatest heavy reach, so that shouldn't be a huge surprise to anyone. Got a lot of Furies, though. This is a significantly bigger health pool, so let's see if this kills. I'm telling you guys, if I pull Cosmic, Deathless King Groot is on the table for me for the 2-3. That only took a minute. You know, I've been doing this testing. Now, I tend to test a 6-star rank 5 Ascended because I feel like that's more practical for most viewers. But they've had much, not significantly larger, but this is a fast time. This Star-Lord, though, has a little bit less health. Dude is Miami's? What? Strange. What are you, 15? Tops 28. Tops 28 years old. Dude is not originating in Miami, my friend. But that's cool. I'm happy to share it. What's up, Smith the Savage? You know what my favorite part about that is? Strange could be like, I'm 78. They can say whatever you want. We'd have no idea. There's no fact checking on the internet. The change from poison to fire is cool. Absolutely. Okay, because I don't feel like we're going to have to, I don't want to have to come back to Deathless King Groot. We'll go fight future Ant-Man, and then we will watch the video on the unnamed champion. The unnamed champion. And I will switch over the thumbnail and the title and all that stuff. You guys know me. I respect rules if I think rules make sense, and I do think this rule makes a lot of sense. So yeah. So I'm not the best future Ant-Man fighter out there. His specials just do a thing to me. You know, we should test this light reach. It's not amazing. It's like that heavy. But it does, on the other hand, it gives you time to block. All right, so we're not going to get the permanent armor up because we didn't have the Fury. That's fine. I almost want to let Future Ant-Man... Come on, dude, throw your special. Come on, dude. Don't you know we have other champions to get to? Future Ant-Man, why are you doing this, bro? His medium dash is actually kind of interesting to me. I'm intrigued by that. I don't want to test it now. I don't know if we got parry stun there. We definitely should have. And I believe the Furies will shrug that for you, because that is technically a debuff. Let's see how hard this hits without the Furies. Remember, this Future Ant-Man only had about 200,000 health, though. All right, I like him. I think I've seen enough. Oh, you meant the Miami version? He's down here and you're weird. Got it. Thanks, Strange. That's awesome. Oh, dude is Miami's bro. Got it. Thank you. I'm slow and I'm old, dude, right? I mean, come on. His SP2 is stronger against tech heroes, I believe. Oh, good point. If you want a floor for him. Thank you, Relos. That's actually a really good point, right? That's the change from the original King Groot with robots. Makes sense, actually. And I think Sim pointed out, too, that this actually, there's more tech heroes than there are robots, if I remember correctly. Take a shot every time Vega says, dude, please don't do that. I cannot have that on my conscience. All right. It is now technically 11 o'clock in Pacific Standard Time, where I live and where Kabam is located is the official time. So I'm going to change the title. I'm going to change the thumbnail, and we will watch the official MCoC video really quick. Those are a good place to, I think, learn, right? It is a showcase. So they're trying to show us all the various things that the champions can do. I happen to know the person who does those videos. They are very smart at this game. So I feel good about that. But let's go ahead and pull that up, and then we will go and test this champion. I'm going to start the video out on mute, and then I will turn on the sound, of course. If that is too loud, you all let me know. All right, you all let me know. I do think Spider-Punk is going to be very good at a minimum. I think the SP2 might be something to get a little bit used to. But a lot of people who have done significant testing have said they were able to get used to it in not too long a period of time. So let's go ahead and let me bring this up for us. That's weird. Why isn't that showing? That should be showing. I'm not happy with that. Why aren't these showing? Uh-oh, we might be experiencing technical difficulty. That should definitely be showing. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's click on Spider-Punk here. Let me make sure we've got a... I don't really feel like showing... sorry, guys. I had this set up better earlier. I don't really know what's going on as far as all this. We don't need to see. Hey, look! That Vega guy has a really good Crystal Cornucopia video if you want to watch a crystal opening. And I think this is good enough. Let's get a little more on the top here. Let's unmute Michael. Turn the volume down. And I will keep a look at the chat. If you guys are like, hey, we can't hear, we can't see, or something like that, you let me know, okay?
What is going on, Summoners? We're back here today with another Champion Deep Dive. Today, we're talking about Spider-Punk. So, sit back and relax, because it's time to get into it. Spider-Punk enters the contest with an annihilated body and mind. granting him immunity to concussion debuffs and rupture effects. He also hates labels, so he gains increased attack rating for each tag on himself and the opponent.
It's pretty funny.
Spider-Punk will rupture his opponent's ears off. Unless otherwise stated, his personal rupture debuffs last for 14 seconds and max out at 8 stacks. But sit tight, we'll get to those later. Now, when performing a well-timed block against basic attacks, he has a 100% chance to evade, inflicting a stun passive for 3 seconds. This is removed when the opponent is struck and goes on cooldown for 16 seconds. When performing a well-timed block against basic attacks, he has a 100% chance to evade, inflicting a stun passive for 3 seconds. This is removed when the opponent is struck twice and goes on cooldown for 16 seconds. While this cooldown is active, each time he would be struck by a light or medium attack while dashing forward, he has a 100% chance to evade the hit, inflicting a stun passive for 2 seconds. But be careful, while defending, this ability is always active. Also, when Spider-Punk intercepts the opponent, he inflicts a physical vulnerability debuff for 15 seconds, maxing out at 2 stacks. And each time he does, his evade cooldown is shortened by 6 seconds. On the first hit of his heavy attack, he refreshes all personal physical vulnerability debuffs on the opponent. The final hit inflicts a taunt debuff for 2 seconds, and grants the opponent 0 power if above 1 bar. Now, Spider-Punk gathers a crowd wherever he goes. As a defender, or while fighting in battlegrounds, he starts with 150. Otherwise, he starts with 0. But when defeating an opponent, half of the crowd stays for his next match. However, if he's defeated, they all leave. And when either champion dodges or punishes a special attack, he gains 10 crowd members for each bar of power spent. When he triggers his evade on a well-timed block, he gains 30. But each time he's knocked down, he loses 15. The crowd hypes the amp up to 11, increasing the potency of personal ruptures based on the size of the crowd. And once it reaches 200, he gains an unstoppable passive when activating a special attack, lasting for 3 seconds after the attack. Now, let's check out his special attacks.
I was wondering why that unstoppable was there.
On activation of his special 1, he removes all personal ruptures on the opponent, and for each rupture removed, each hit inflicts an instant rupture, dealing a burst of physical damage, scaling with the remaining time left on the ruptures. With the Special 2, the final 3 hits are guitar strum attacks that inflict a rupture debuff. These can be inflicted through blocks that are not well timed. As an attacker, 3 chords are generated, and swiping up or down while the chords are active amplifies the hit, bringing in 10 crowd members. And if all hits are amplified, he inflicts an additional rupture.
Nick, yeah, I think there's a cash out moment with him. That's, I don't think we're seeing that cash out yet.
Special 3. At the end of this attack, he inflicts 3 rupture debuffs. And once per fight, the duration of his ruptures are permanently increased by 25%. Also, a perfect result during the Special 3 minigame brings 150 crowd members to the fight, but only 100 if the minigame is failed. Now, let's check out his signature ability.
Just gonna pause it. Like, notice how much of his kit has been about adding ruptures, duration of ruptures, and about building crowd. And then there's something, I can't remember if Mike's already said it or not. There's a line about Battlegrounds and starting with more crowd. So I think, I don't want to call him a ramp up champion because I don't want that to become the way we think of him, but I do think there is some ramp and then a cash out. Let's see it. That's my sense on him.
When awakened, each time the opponent finishes a special attack, he inflicts an encore passive for the corresponding special. While active, the opponent is 70% more likely to throw the same special attack. This maxes out at 3 stacks and is removed if the opponent performs a different special. Additionally, for each Encore active, the opponent's attack rating during special attacks is reduced by up to 24%. And inflicting an Encore passive while an Encore is already active has up to a 100% chance to inflict a Rupture debuff. Now, let's see those chords in action in the champion rotation. To begin, parry the opponent to trigger your evade and start building your crowd. You could intercept the opponent to shorten your cooldown and stack physical vulnerability. Bait the opponent's specials to begin building your Encore passives to stack ruptures and gather a larger crowd. Now, Spider-Punk will evade when struck by a basic attack while dashing when his evade is on cooldown, so don't be afraid to take a risk. From here, keep this cycle going as you build to just under 3 bars of power. And keep in mind, if the opponent has projectile specials, you'll build that crowd much quicker. Now that you're all set up, launch your special 2 to stack ruptures and strum up or down to stack on even more. And then, follow it up with a special 1 to remove your ruptures and deal instant rupture burst damage on every hit. One thing to note, when fighting in battlegrounds, you'll start with a crowd of 150. Making it much easier to build to a satisfying special 2 with maximum rupture potency. And hey, in a longer fight, you could follow this same loop while building up to your special 3, and launch to crank the amp up to 11 and increase the duration of your rupture effects by 25%. Then, use those Encore passives to stack on a larger amount of ruptures and juice up that special 1 burst even further. And since he did such a good job, half the crowd will follow Spider-Punk to his next match. Just make sure you keep the ball rolling. Thank you for watching this Champion Deep Dive for Spider-Punk.
I mean, I've obviously watched that a few times, so a lot of it sunk in quite a bit better. We're not going to catch everything, but I think that's enough for us to get into this, get testing. If there's something specifically you guys want to see that I can show you on the CCP map, let me know. What I really want to do first is just work on those intercepts and then go to the SP2. It looks like there's a lot of built-in safety net, which I really like. If I am understanding it correctly, it looks like you want to get your evade on cooldown almost. And we should put a relic on him. What relic are we thinking for this guy? I don't think I saw any active buffs. Ruptures though. I didn't see anything with block proficiency. There's no power stings. Punk animation is very cool. I hope this one's added to the game somewhere. Considering drop hunters to get this one. Mr. B, yeah, I mean, I think there's going to probably be a lot of people doing that just because I think he is cool, right? And from the Spider-Verse movies. Like, I know I'm excited because of the Spider-Verse movies and things like that. I will say there's nothing in his kit right now that's making me be like, I gotta have that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's just, that's actually probably a good thing. I'm not sure. Cap relic? Cap? All right, we'll go with Cap. He's not blocking or anything though. The last hit is a bulwark passive, block proficiency. Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like you were doing a lot of. It looked like a spider character. You're bouncing around a lot. Hulk. What's up, Sync? Yeah, I think I don't think this is the best relic, and that's fine. I think this is something that's going to take a lot of testing. That's why we're doing this. So please, no one feel badly for putting out an idea. This is how it's going to work. I do think this is probably better Spider-Man 2099. I'll be curious to see how that works. It may actually kind of mess with him. Or yeah. I think I'm confusing him and Prowler a small amount. Well, that was another thing that actually confused me. I don't know if you guys noticed, or I would have loved to have seen. Mike was sent that America Chavez to 2 bars of power, but he also had up all of those careful studies or whatever they're called. I would have really liked to have seen how that played out. And then it looked to me like he parry stunned Prowler's medium. Maybe it was the light, but yeah, that'll take a little bit more knowledge on Prowler too. What's up, Jacob? Full-time streamer? That's just what I do now. That's just what I do. I'm a full-time streamer. 8 hours a day, 9 hours, 10 hours. You never know. I feel like he wants Hulk or Spider-Man for the... I'm wondering if Hulk is actually the way to go. What kind of stinks is how many champions want the Hulk one. How many science champions want the Hulk one? Kind of goes to the idea that I know will never happen. I would love it if you got, like, if you get a 3-star version of a relic, you can kind of place it on any of your champions of that class. Just a 3-star. Because it's just annoying to have to continuously do it. All right. Anyways, I'm going to just kind of work on the basic gameplay, used to his animations, that kind of stuff. We'll work on layering things when, once we get this down. Okay, so we're already I've messed up because he is fun. Yeah, it's a good time. Like the animations, you feel like you're playing a cool spider character. Oh. Okay, I don't think I hit any of those. I don't think I hit a single one. I don't think I hit a single one. It kind of popped up and surprised me. But that was, hold on, I gotta go get $100. Yeah, he does feel like he's gonna be the best interceptor because of the safety net. That was... And then now we're going to carry over some of our crowd, right? And I think you start with crowd in Battlegrounds. I don't remember what amount of crowd you start with, but so like that wasn't even a full... Oh boy. Okay. This is an Ascended, rank 5, 6200. I just wanted to test off how tanky he is. You know, want to make sure I help everybody out. See how well he takes a shock to the face. Yeah, I mean, look at the safety net there. That is really cool. Then we'll go in. That is, I think that right there. I got 2 of those. And then I think we wanted to come in for the SP1 now, right? Wasn't anything crazy, but it was nice. I've noticed this on the CTP server. The second node, the champion seems just significantly more passive. That game is actually pretty fun. They show it to you beforehand. I do not think that call out was cool. Darn it, guys, I'm really liking this character. I think it's going to be really difficult to separate how fun they are with how good they are. But you You know, one of the things I talk about is like flow, flow on a champion. The flow on this champion is very good. It feels like the floor is low. The floor to get like decent numbers, to feel effective, to bounce around. I mean, I think we're getting decent numbers, and my idea on how to play him is pretty low on how to optimize all of this. That little mini game is it's fun because you have time to get it done. You don't. I can see why a lot of people said no. Once you there's no mystic over here. Oh, it's that huge one. I don't want to do that. Let's go back to this Jane. Let's catch up on the chat. See if you guys what you're saying. Not gonna lie, the missed time. Yeah, it is fun. Like, it is actually fun. Do you strum left side of the screen? That's what I'm doing. I'm strumming on the left side. And they let you know, I can't remember what boss it is. Was it the Necropolis Grandmaster? It's a boss that we've all fought recently where they kind of let you know, like if it's like parry this, let it hit you, or just block. Like they let you know beforehand. So once you know where to look, it's not bad. It's the first one I'm struggling to get the timing with, but I don't think it's bad. Wait for it probably has anti-evade on mediums. Yeah, Jaeger, that's why it was a little, but I think he parry stunned, so it was fine. We'll have to figure that out when we test Prowler. The evade mechanic on Spider-Punk is fun. Half the crowd comes with you. Sid Vicious just rolled over his grave with this guitar, so yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I hope Jimi Hendrix isn't watching. Let's do that, huh? He looks fun. Other than it makes a clank sound when you miss a strum, it will drop $100 for that alone. Some champs just users percent. Yeah, he's very fun. You guys know when I do this, like I don't want to try to sell you on any champions, especially when I know that they can be purchased in the moment or you can pop crystals or something. I don't know how strong he is. Like that's one thing, right? Like I'm not seeing a fight or a node set that says you need him or that he's going to be the best for. I do think there's a little bit of a defensive threat with this guy with that evade. Like you want someone who just like can't be evaded. If I'm understanding him correctly. Oh, you got it. That was a lot of reverse psychology right there. All right, let's go ahead and do this again. Just trying to get down the basic mechanics of this guy. Oh, Big Evil, I saw you earlier say the best cosmic. You know, Ben. If they don't play into you, he's a little annoying. But I mean, that's kind of how it is. Like, this is annoying. So you definitely want to get that going. Missed the timing on all of those. You see the difference that makes. The timing does make a difference. I've only got up how many physical vulnerabilities? How do you get the physical vulnerabilities up again? I think that would be helpful too. Making sure we get them up and keep them up. I think the mini game had something to do with that, which well, they put it, okay, so this is the signature ability. While an encore is active, the opponent is set. That's why she was throwing those SB1s like crazy. So it's that's some nice utility there. For each encore active, the opponent's attack rating during the special is reduced. So you can get that up times 3. You're getting that up to 72% attack reduction. I really wish we could have seen what that America did into the Spider-Punk in the deep dive. Inflecting Encore possible when Encore is already active has a 90% chance to inflict. Okay, so you want that happening. Because it's going to help us get more of our ruptures up. Okay. Immunity, concussion, rupture. I mean, that's cool. I guess Werewolf by Night isn't attacking him. So it's the intercepts. So you really want to do that. If your opponent's passive, you're just kind of... It's only 2, though. Oh, no, we got to a third one. I could swear I saw a third one come up. Swear, maybe that was from the relic? Remember to use the code Vega583 when you check out the Kabam store, so Vega can get his affiliate fee. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. Stink. I could swear we had a third physical vulnerability up. This right here, this whole mechanic is, I think, the key. Just the initial get this down. It's what makes them fun. Okay, we'll come back and read this. I just want to get that other part down. Chief of YouTube, he needs to be nerfed. Why? This is a no nerf zone. This is a no nerf zone. The only thing we nerf around here is defenders. All right, we will not be having any offensive use nerfs. We can nerf Bullseye on defense. That'd be fine. That'd be fine. That's allowed. That is the loophole that we have worked. So okay, I just want to kind of get that mechanic down. You want to land that, and then we may have to quit out after, well, there we go. All right, throw it, dude. Throw it. There you go. The AI on this, so right now, I actually want to bait this. I don't want to let it hit me, but... Okay, so that time I landed the first one, but not the second. He's so fun to intercept. You find yourself, or I find myself, forgetting to do the parry stun. Let's see what happens here. We see we have 3 physical vulnerabilities. We're getting them somehow. All right. How are we getting that third one? Does anyone know? What's up, Lefty? Lefty, how do you like him? I feel like he's tough to separate out how good he is with how fun he is. There it is. Yeah, okay. So the relic's getting the other physical vulnerability. Okay. That makes me feel better about that. And then what's happening because we're missing the mini game? What penalty or what not cool? Okay, so you really do want to get those well-timed blocks. So just remembering to do that, because you see that. When either champion dodges a special or punishes their opponent's special, Spider gains 10 crowd members. So that's why the projectiles were good, just because they had multiple hits, I think, if I'm understanding why Mike called out the projectiles. Interesting that it's per bar of power. I guess it's in case you're doing the special twos. First hit of heavy refreshes all personal physical. Okay, so we're not doing that either. That'd be smart to start working in. And it inflicts the taunt, which would help. Let's see how much that changes the second Thor here. We want to have the ruptures up for the special one. And the special two, the final hit, or okay, as an attacker, 3 chords are generated swiping up or down. So that's bringing in crowd and inflicting an additional rupture. So that would make the SP1 hit that much harder, right? If we could get the minigame on the SP2, the SP1 would hit harder. The interesting thing though is I feel like he's producing reasonable numbers without even hitting it. This is cool. I like champions like this. He's kind of AI dependent. That's what I'm thinking too. The frustration moments so far, Lefty, have been either me just not being familiar with him, kind of, it takes a while, or AI. But I forgot about the taunt on the heavy. His SP2 is difficult to master. I'm feeling that too. But I think once we do, we'll be fine. What's up, Manny? Zane, what's up with the Mr. Sinister? I thought we would, they're no longer having the CCP test it, so I literally know nothing. I don't like it personally because I enjoyed doing those videos on the buff and kind of letting people know like what I thought was going to happen and things like that. But Kabam made the decision that to stop doing that, and I mean, personally, I don't like it, but I think a lot of people are pretty happy about it. So. That's also something I'm not going to pout and scream on. I might cry, might stomp my feet, but not all 4. I thought the bundle on R5 extended him, testing him out, and he is fun. Getting his rotation down in play style, getting pretty with him. Nice, Ice. That's good. Build right under 3 bars to maximize SP1 burst damage, and try to get up the ruptures. Right, that's the idea there. You feel like you're getting down the mini game. It's always a little bit more difficult to do this while streaming. So it would be good to know if people who are already, you guys are 30 minutes into this and you're getting the mini game down. It does feel like you'll get it. It's not the same as Kate's perfect release. It is not at all. The similarity I'm going to say is when I first tried Kate's perfect release, I was like, I will never get this. And now it's like second nature. All right, here we go. Let's try this. I'll try to work in the heavy. And remember to do the stun to get that on cooldown, then do the evades and have a good time with that. I'm curious if we could actually kill with the SP2 if we hit the mini game and played this well enough. This is 212,000 health, so it's not a huge health pool. See right there, that's what Lefty's talking about. And that's just the AI we got now, guys. It's not a good time. Like, look at that. Why would you do that? So she should throw her heavy. Let's see if we can kill here. Nope. I wonder if I had hit the things though. I obviously don't have the timing right on that. Look at the damage though the ruptures are doing, and then we would have exploded all of those with the SP1. So even if she had a lot more health, that's the thing. I want to hammer this home. What I'm liking about him, as far as just the pure fun to play, is it feels like you're still going to get things done if you're not playing him optimally or maximizing him. There's Ice. Yes, the minigame isn't terrible, but building right under 3 bars is good because the quicker you can throw the SB1, the more damage because the burst does. So the SB1's a bit of a cash out too. Thanks for answering my questions. Been wondering about it. I'm gonna miss hearing about the early stuff from y'all. Yeah, I don't want to sidetrack this too much, but I don't know what I'm allowed to say and not to. If I can work out a way to do that, to do those buff ones, I will. But I highly doubt that that those will be coming back unless Kabam just changes their policy, and they seem pretty certain on their policy. We're just going to do this and just kind of, again, continue to get used to his animation, see if we can continue to get used to the mini game. Either way, I'm comforted that people are saying they're getting used to it. So I didn't want her to do that. So I wanted to test it there off the SB1. I think you can actually just spam. It's a bit of a cheat. I don't know if it's intended. So if this works, keep your eye out to see if it gets changed. I feel like you can just spam the direction. Meaning, like, you know, you'll see up. And so instead of trying to nail the exact perfect timing, I think you can just spam up. And then when it changes over, you can spam, you know, to whatever the next one is. I still, though... Why does he have a 99.96 chance and not a 100% chance of victory? I have no idea. Stuff like that always confuses me. I don't... Yeah, I don't know. There's... Knowing the designer, this designer's produced a lot of excellent champions whose kits really work well together. There's probably a reason, or there's like a coding reason or something. I think they put in a couple Easter eggs, like the 182, I think is to Blink 182. So maybe there's like a... I can't think of a 99.96 though, or something like that. That would be... can someone explain why girl Moondragon barely gets any love? Yeah. I think because she came out bugged, if I remember correctly. I remember being really frustrated. She was one of those champions where they're like, okay, but you can't show her with recoil. And you're like, why? Okay. But you know, people are going to show them with recoil because they're not going to know that that's not how it's supposed to work. And then, like, you're... So that's what I would think is... and that happens with champions. And then they just kind of, like, fall by the wayside a little bit. If I remember correctly, too, she came out around the transition from 6 to 7s. So I think that hurt some champions as far as like notoriety in the community too. What's up, Dot? Can anyone think of anything else they really want to see? Because at the moment, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of him. I'm not playing him well, but I feel like I kind of understand what he can and can't do. You know, when I think about how we'll rank him, you know, his general score will be pretty good because I think there's a decent amount in there. The damage definitely seems capable. He's obviously fun, but that's not really something we take into account. When we look at like how hard is he to play, I don't think he's overly difficult, but I don't think he's the easiest either. I think there's a few things you get used to him, you know, with the evade mechanic and the stun, and then the SB2 minigame. I think you're going to be fine. I think his flow is very good, and for those who don't know, flow is like how much. Almost, I hate to make it sound like an easy use because it's not, but it can sound that way. It's more like how often are the abilities there for you to use? Like how well are they put together? How easy are they to throw off their loop by defenders or nodes or a slight mistake from the player. And I think his flow score is going to be very high. He's not Spider-Ham, who like you can just constantly parry stun and add on, you know, your power stings or things like that. But I'm thinking like a 4 out of 5. Where I think he might not have a terribly high score is meta relevance. Because I'm struggling right now, and really, if you guys, please, like this is helpful, and I'll take it to the Illuminati too, and on my Discord server, are you seeing a place where outside of just wanting to play him because he's fun, be like, no, he's really going to shine here. And maybe like ebb and flow intercept nodes because of the protection he gets and all of that. He's not buff immune. He doesn't have like a slow or anything. He doesn't have a stagger. He does have some kind of pseudo power control, right? He's got that taunt. And then in his signature ability, I think that's the first bullet point. Opponent is 70% more likely to throw the same special attack. So you kind of don't even need your taunt at that point. This is kind of nice, the reducing the attack rating, but it doesn't go to 0. So, you know, if you're fighting a big, beefy defender, you're still going to take damage. He's applying a good amount of debuffs, but, you know, science champions already do that. I care. Like, I would love for you to tell me I'm wrong and let me know where you're like, no. This fight, this defender, this sort of node set, here's where you want him. Trying to think of a good example for you all of champions like this on the tier list. Vox is similar a little bit, where it's like they're really good. Don't get me wrong, they're great, and like I enjoy playing Vox. I am enjoying playing Spider-Punk here, but the enjoyment's so high, and he's so well made, and the animations are so good. And I do think there's Battlegrounds nuke potential here. Don't get me wrong there either. But like, I've already got Silk. I'm very excited about taking up my Red Guardian. So as far as like science nukes, as 6 stars, I'm already kind of covered. So he feels a bit like, maybe if I love him, I can try to grind him out, or I wait till he comes into the basic. Like that, this is the way I analyze things, you know? Low ease of rotation. That's a good one, Tezjay. That's a really good one, actually, because it's not ease of use. It is not. Those are different things. That's a good synopsis. The taunt on the heavy doesn't last long at all. It needs to be awakened for the encore buff. Good point, Lefty. Do you think he'll be a viable champ for BDs? I do, because remember he starts with. Where is that? I don't remember how much of his crowd he starts with. It's probably under crowd. Should go there. Starts with 150 crowd members. So that's something to keep in mind. When you're looking at this, when we're looking at these, how quickly he's taking out like this Thor, and we're trying to extrapolate to like, well, what's he doing, like a 300,000 health pool or something like that. Remember, he's starting out with half of his maximum crowd. So I think that's going to be really helpful, but there's no way to test that. There's absolutely no way to test that. Punk is one of the greatest additions to the game, so I can't argue with that either. Like again, I'm trying to look at this I'm trying to look at this analysis from giving out advice, from placing in my tier list, from knowing that people are going to potentially spend $100 on the early access deal. They're going to potentially open crystals. They're potentially going to spend many hours of their weekend weekday trying to grind him out. And I want to let people know what I think they're getting. It's a different thing. Maybe other YouTubers are doing that. I don't know, but I know that's my thought, is like, I want to help get that sort of analysis out. I don't want to sell you on a champ. I don't want to unsell you on a champ. I want you to know how I think you're going to actually use him in the game. He's in the Band of Champs. It does damage that not a lot of people are immune to. That's also important. You're right. Rupture. Right? I mean, isn't someone reducing the length of Rupture these days? Kits are getting so complex. It's really hard to keep track of all of them. I feel like someone's reducing not the potency, but the length Rupture is on them. Like maybe even just in a certain form. I could just completely be making that up, but I think that's true. Scorpion obviously goes immune. Werewolf by Night in Battlegrounds is just taking out so many defenders. So I would think Werewolf wouldn't be able to take Spider-Punk. I do think you're going to want some sort of evade counter when you fight him. Lefty, and I'm sure Lefty's done a good amount of testing. He'll do good to be just because of the 150 crowd. Yeah. Thanks for being here, Pablo. All right, let's just play him a few more times. The mini game, I'm struggling to figure out when the moment is. As I said earlier, I found that kind of just spamming. I am getting some of it. Nope, you can't spam. Don't spam. Everything I just said about spamming, forget it. I must have just gotten lucky the first time. So don't spam. Everything I said earlier about spamming, don't do it. But I mean, that still felt really, really fluid. The striker use into the SB2, getting us close to the 3 bars of power. That's 37 seconds. If we hit the SB2, it's probably even faster. And based on what, I'm sorry, I've already forgotten, I think it was T, was saying about the SP1, I do think that is definitely part of his loop, is getting the damage off the SP1 too. I think, you know, I don't want to extrapolate too much, but I think a much larger health pool, we're taking it down. So BG's nuke also seems like a very, very potential role for this. And to Dot, I think it was Dot's point, I'm sorry if it was someone else, almost no one's going to be immune to this Rupture. And between the taunt and the signature ability, you've got some power control in essence. In fact, I mean, you're wanting to evade the specials. I can see you crowd, right? I'm wondering if that SB2 kills with the 150 crowd as well. That's the other thing that keeps running into my head here is what do you get from crowd again? Does anyone remember? Because I'll go through the whole kit. What is crowd getting you? Crowd effects. I really like this designer. I like this designer a lot. Crowd height brings the items up to 11. Increase the potency of personal ruptures by 182% based on the crowd count. And so right there, 182% based on the crowd count, and you're starting with 150. And then you're going to get the unstoppable passive. I think you're looking at I think we're potentially looking at, I don't want to say a totally different champion. Like, again, I don't want to sell this. I think we're going to see some really cool BG stuff out of this champion. I want to wait till I see it, though, before I tell you all. I think we got a BG's nuke here. It's so Ice, yeah, thanks Ice. It's nice to when you hit his SB2, all right, you get the additional rupture. Okay, we're starting to put this together a little bit better. But I think that would be cool here, right? This feels... Yeah, I mean, I think this is Honeydew, right? Yeah, yes. I don't know if we're allowed to say it or not, but yes, Dot. Yeah, since you supplied the answer, I think we're going to see some really cool battleground stuff out of Spider-Punk. I'm now getting kind of interested because I do think there is a small amount of dual threat to him as well. Still doesn't handle evade, doesn't handle us unstoppable. Not buff immune. I want to play him one more time because he's really fun, and then we'll move over to Prowler. He's undeniably fun. He's undeniably fun. So, you know, that's something I'm always harping on in CCP server is I'm like, yeah, but is it fun? Like, I don't care how right you are, how wrong you are. Is it fun? And they knocked it out of the park as far as fun is concerned with this guy. Shoot, I kind of want to get the early access bundle now. So this is a little bit of the AI dependency that, you know, Lefty was talking about. Okay, heavy reach isn't great. I want to get one more good run, and then we'll go to Prowler. I know I have Prowler on the thumbnail. We will do Prowler. Prowler's a whole different set of concerns. I see the power of Prowler. Bitter Steel has shown me some pretty nutty in the versatility of what Prowler can take. And I really feel like all the tools are there. There's a lot of really powerful abilities. It's the like, how does it all come together? And a little bit easy use, honestly, with Prowler. I have a feeling these champions are going to feel extremely different to play. I wonder actually if we should go in and have taunted her. I can't believe I'm getting my butt kicked by Thor Jane Foster, but here we are. Okay, I should have thrown that earlier. All the ruptures fell off. So I should have gone for that earlier. That is a really fun loop. That is a really fun loop. Does the crowd number amplify the damage on the SP1? That's the other thing I'm wondering. Does anyone know that? Does crowd... increases the potency of personal ruptures by 182%. Okay, so above the 200s when you get the unstoppable. So in Battlegrounds, you're going to get that if you play him well. And if I'm understanding crowd properly, you're going to get that unstoppable. So it increases the potency of the ruptures. What does the SP1 specifically say? On activation, remove all personal ruptures on the opponent. For each rupture removed, each hit inflicts an instant rupture. Increase the potency. I'm thinking, I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling those work together, which should make the SP1 hit really hard. Where's DLL? Where's DLL? Is he working? Why is DLL actually working right now? Okay, I'm a fan. If you guys you're excited, I would be excited to test him in Battlegrounds too. I was all ready to take up Red Guardian and ascend Red Guardian because I love Red Guardian. But right now, because I haven't finished 8.4, I'm very much like, oh, should I do the early access on this? All right. Let me. Okay, Prowler timestamp. Because I do want to try to timestamp this for people. 105 who come back and watch later. Worth of 4.5. Jason, I mean, okay, so let's do a quick synopsis on this. Is extremely fun to play. Almost impossible to separate how fun to play they are from how effective they are. No one would be fun to play if they didn't do damage and if they couldn't do things in the game. So I think right away, baseline effectiveness and power level is like at least good. Does definitely has some sort of power control with the signature ability, and then there is a taunt. Lefty pointed out that the taunt is not very long. Their flow, as far as like how well they can put their loop together, thank you, Tez, I believe it was, is I think very, very high. Now that's different than ease of play. This isn't a parry heavy champion. There are mechanics you need to be aware of as far as like getting their parry stun evade down, then getting in your intercepts, but he has a really nice protection in his intercepts, and I think will probably be very good for nodes that require intercepts, and that does happen, and those are really tough nodes. Unfortunately, they often coincide with going debuff immune, but that's a whole other problem. I don't see a defender or a node that he will dominate, so like this isn't going to be like Silk just destroying Mangog or whatever, or maybe it's Sasquatch, which used to happen to me all the time. I'm not seeing that. What I am possibly seeing, and there's just no way to test it, so keep your eye out from people who are doing Battlegrounds videos with Spider-Punk, is he may be just a great Battlegrounds nuke, and there's the whole SP3 rotation. I don't think this is someone who you're going to dread taking into your questing or your larger health pools. I don't think this is like an Acropolis champion, but I'm not seeing something that makes me think, oh God, if their health pool is 500,000, he's going to be horrible. Why would I do that? I just, since you guys are here, if you're familiar with my tier list, I'm seeing a second tier champion, which I don't think, I know for a fact, I'm not conceited enough to think that Kabam's like, okay, we got to hit the second tier in Vegas tier list. That's our goal. I think what it is I think that's around what they're shooting for. If champions fall a little higher, a little lower, they're contented. And because we often try to reflect what's happening in the game, that happens to be our second tier. And that's why there's so many champions in it. Incredibly fun. I think you're going to be able to use him if you want to. Does want to place debuffs, obviously. As Dot pointed out, almost no one is immune to Rupture, so there's a variety of places you can be able to use him. He's pretty safe to play with the intercepts. He does have some AI mechanic manipulations, which are ones I like. We've talked about that a lot lately. It could just be mental, but I feel like I call them like invisible AI manipulations. I feel like are much more reliable. Think of like your future Ant-Man when he gets his swarm up, and there's another champion I really like who does this, Kushala, where she makes the champions more aggressive and things like that. So I feel like those are more reliable, at least they are to me, than your Intimidates, your Infuriates, and things like that. So that's kind of like, essentially that's what you're going to hear me say when we do the tier list for Spider-Punk. I do wish, and I might, but there's just so much going on, I would play him more and get some cool footage of him doing cool things, because I do think that's going to be possible. But I would say keep your eye out for people with Battlegrounds showcases and things like that. I do think this is a powerful champion. The question is just going to be, are there places where he's someone you're wanting to reach for outside of him just being really fun? And honestly, that might be a good thing, because Kabam could always change that. Like if you have a champion, you're like, no, anytime this node comes up, I go for them, and that's why I love them. And then Kabam's like, yeah, we're done with that node. So I also like that. Champions who have general high score, who are fun to play, probably better long-term investments. So, yeah.
I just got here. Not a fan?
No. I actually am a fan.
Okay.
I never advise people to go buy early access bundle or whatever. Like, you guys know how I feel about Cav crystals and all those things. But essentially, to try to provide for everyone, this is DLL. Thank you for being here, dude. Actually, can I ask you a question before we move on?
Sure.
What was the question? It was about his ruptures. Oh, okay. The crowd, the crowd effect, right, is it amps up the potency of personal ruptures by 182%.
Right.
Does that mean it will up the potency of the instant rupture off the SP1?
Yes, that's why the special one is an instant rupture.
Oh boy. Okay, when I saw instant on the SP1. Okay, so I've not gotten the mini game. I think it's T. T has a spider pumpkin saying they're getting it. That it's definitely gettable, and I know people like. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I could swear I heard you say you got it after a little bit of practice.
Yeah, it took me a while because I was thinking about it more as like when to start swiping or when to be done swiping.
Yeah.
And you just need to be like in the middle of it, which it broke my brain a little bit after so many of our other mini games, but once you get it, you'll hold on to it.
Okay. That's your way of describing what I described with Kate. Where I was like, it's not like Kate's, but it has the similar quality of once you got it, I feel like you got it.
Right.
So I've been getting like 35-ish second kills on the little Thor Jane Foster without getting the mini game. And
his damage is great.
So that doesn't say is what I was thinking though, is that with Battlegrounds, because you get the 150 just to start off, you're probably killing a significantly larger opponent in that same amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I'm a fan. I wasn't dead set against getting the early access bundle, but I had planned on taking Red Guardian to Ascend, SIG 200 R5 Ascend, because I love playing Red Guardian. But I'm now considering doing this instead. It's being Spider-Punk. So
I get it.
Yeah. You have anything to add or like? Oh, sorry. And this wasn't the quote unquote negative. But for me, what I was thinking is I don't see a place where I think, oh, dude, he's going to destroy this defender or he's going to destroy this node. Intercepting with him feels really safe, feels really fun, really good. And I think that if that's accurate, that slices both ways in that, one, you're not just going to destroy, you're not going to do like Silk for Sassy or whatever, right? But that actually might be cool because, what if Kabam just stops placing that node? Or what if Battlegrounds changes and people stop placing that defender? You still have a really fun, really powerful champion that you might be able to apply elsewhere as opposed to being a direct shutdown on a current problem.
Right. And there's also, like, I want to call out the intercept thing is automatically good. Science champions in general tend to struggle on path 5 because there's either the mighty charge or there's the sadist.
Yeah.
He doesn't hard counter either, but like having a science champion who does the counter evade thing. So you're not just relying on Kate, gives you another weapon against Destroyer. He's immune to Rupture, so he's that much better there. You don't turn on Sadist until you're doing damage. It's not like Titania where you're putting yourself at risk the whole way up. Like, I think there's definitely going to be war uses. And then, yeah, it's going to keep coming up throughout the game. Like, the utility he has is limited, but it's very good.
Well, he's even got a little bit. Once I started putting together the signature ability too, with that it's not careful study passive, but
yeah, but it's not careful study passive TM.
but it's got a 70%. It's a 70% taunt essentially, right?
The taunt is always 70%, but yeah, like the weakness side of it is similar to Reed. It's very, very strong.
Oh, wait, maybe I'm misunderstanding it then. You and I might be saying the same thing, but I think this is important to make sure I am understanding it. So what I mean is while Encore is active, the opponent is 70% more likely to throw the same special attack.
Right, which is like that's the same potency as a taunt would be, but just for that special.
Okay. I understand the differentiate you're making now.
Right. So, like, if you're trying to build the special 2,
Yeah.
then it's not like just having a taunt on the opponent, which would make it difficult to have them not throw the special 1. It's just for the special 2.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Again, we'll move on to Prowler. I keep telling people we're going to move on to Prowler. I see a second tier in the tier list. I see a second tier champion. Like I did say, I'm like, I know that's not Kabam's goal. I know that Kabam isn't like, we need them all to be second in Vega's tier. I think it's just because the tier list is reflecting what's in the game, and they're very, very powerful, can be widely used. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Like,
yeah, none of us are upset about that placement.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great place. It's a great addition to the game. Really super fun, powerful. How people can rank them up, feel like they can use them. I really like him. I like him more than not more than I thought I would. But it wasn't until we really started diving in that I started seeing the various utility. Take a second to say hello to people. Sync, did Vegas say he could get good footage? Is that like the footage of a Bigfoot? What year is it? I can get them all, Sync. I'm not limited to just Yetis and Sasquatches. Dude, Quinn, congratulations. Although it's like playing a guitar. Yeah, I think the designer tried to do, didn't try. I think they were very quite successful in it, actually.
I'm laughing because fully half of his code is in mini.
Oh, really?
It was so much work.
Moxie, dude, it feels like it's been forever. What's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. What's up, Eris? How are we feeling about him unawakened? Because it's Eris, and I keep saying we're going to move on. We will eventually move on, I promise.
I think it's still a good champ. You're losing mostly sustainability, right? You're mostly losing the attack reduction, the taunts. The last bullet is the most important for if you assume you play perfectly, right? Because that extra rupture periodically is going to add to your overall damage and is going to especially add to your special 1 cash out.
Okay, let's move to Prowler. DL, are you sticking around for a minute?
Yeah.
Here, guys, we're gonna do a poll because we were originally going to watch the Prowler video. I think I already know. In fact, we're not. Are you comfortable kind of explaining Prowler a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
I'd rather do that, guys. We got DL on call. I think let's, you have an expert. You should use the expert. So that's, I'm going to do that. And if any of the moderators could link the MCoC deep dive video, those are very, very helpful. As you guys know, I go and I watch those and I listen to DL's deep dives with context. So if you could link DL's channel as well, I would appreciate that a lot. So people can go. They're incredibly insightful on a lot of the loop, why the abilities are there, how they could possibly be helpful, how to use them, that kind of thing. So I highly recommend both of that. With this first fight, guys, I'm just going to try to get used to Prowler's animations. As DLL knows, I did not think that Prowler was bad. My concerns were very much how tight windows were. And I had concerns about essentially a champion who's doing physical damage, applying a incinerate, and how necessary was that? Especially a tech champion that I feel like is tailored. Tailored's probably the wrong word. Has reasons why you would want to take them against some mutant champions who really punish you for putting energy damage on them. Most of those concerns have completely been vanquished and are gone thanks to Bittersteel and talking with DLL as well. My only real concern that's left for me personally is ease of use and the timing up of things. So I just kind of, DL, if you don't mind, just kind of chatting, and I'm just gonna 5-hit combo over and over East animations.
I mean, there's a lot going on with Prowler, but one thing that I will say is that, like, it's only a tight rotation if you're going for, like, competitive battleground skills. And I know that's what a lot of people mean when they say it, but I need to, like, be explicit about that anyway, because for a lot of people, that doesn't matter as much. Like, if you're just looking for a character that can solve problems and you're happy with a 45k score in Battlegrounds or an option for questing or your Warpath, and you're not insisting on 51k, then, like, it's not that tight. And I say that because I think people start talking about a tight rotation and people are going, oh, this is another tight I shouldn't bother. And I just don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Like, just literally wait for the falter to come back, guys.
That's an excellent point, and thanks for kind of clarifying what I mean. Because yes, thank you. There's no reason to add on more than that, aside from DL is very well putting what I was attempting to say.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. Like, ideally, you do want to build to 1.9 bars. You ramp all of your power creep charges from them throwing a single special. That is going to require some AI manipulation and/or some blocking, which makes it a little bit tough to do in the current Battlegrounds meta and Victory Track. So, like, there are a few things working against him right now that are kind of showing a few of his vulnerabilities. But I think that it's really not that bad. And to the, like, incinerate point, I know Vega already knows this, but, like, that was called out in his design, that apparent mismatch as something that was going to bother people. But he just doesn't need the incinerate for those matchups. Pretty much all of those matchups have negative physical resist. The ruptures are going to do enough alone if you play the rest of the rotation, and then it's just gravy for everyone else.
All right. The other thing I kind of forgot about is he has a suite of immunities.
Yeah.
So against this smaller health pool, Pops, what would you suggest is, like, if you're doing the loop?
Ideally, you want to push him to 1.9 bars. I think against Cyclops, you probably start the fight with parry heavy to get the incinerate up immediately.
Okay.
You try and push Cyclops to 1.9 bars because that's going to get you your 30 power creep charges. And then you're focused on landing a special 2 with the falter active.
And the falter comes from the second medium, right?
Correct. I think you have time to use it early on and then have it come back for the special 2, but, like, that's the kind of stuff that you're watching.
Okay. See, it feels scary to do it because of no, shoot, that's my fault. That's still pretty good damage, though. So the falter, I used the falter for an opening, and it wasn't back, but if I had just been a little bit more patient, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone want us to kind of go over the kit? I have a pseudo working understanding of it because of listening to DL's video.
And I will say that, like, that also proves that if you don't have the falter, it's not that the payoff can't work. It's just that you're rolling the dice. because I was watching carefully there on the delay, and you got two numeral 2 extra ruptures from landing crits. The idea behind having the falter up is to get more of those. So like you didn't have a bad roll. That was close to what the payout would have been anyway.
And you know what? I don't even have a relic on him.
Right. And there are a few that are solid for him.
Green Goblin or Sentinel?
I think Sentinel would probably be my favorite, just so you have to apply the Incinerate less.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that I hadn't caught on to, even if it was said to me or if it's in your video, that the Incinerate lasted so long. I was surprised when you said to start off with it.
Yeah, it was something that took me a little bit when playing him. It was like, I debug restarted so many fights because I got one combo in, and I was like, I didn't start with the Incinerate. I'm not getting the real experience.
Yeah. No, these champions feel very different as well from each other. Like I think Prowler's utility and stuff just kind of hits you over the head, you know? And it's more like, okay, how am I gonna line these things up? Spider-Punk. I mean, you can even pause the Incinerate. I will say this would be really nice to have a use for my Sentinel relic. And just for pure transparency, again, remember I was extremely sick at this point in time. I did actually get the early access bundle for Prowler.
As did I.
Now, here's what's interesting though is this Incinerate's not really doing the big damage, so we probably wouldn't want this. You'd probably rather have this, right?
I would get the pause one for sure.
Okay. And then you can actually increase the Incinerate debuff duration. So our Incinerates are probably going to be lasting quite a while.
Right. And then attack rating is good.
Oh, wow. It's nice to have. I have not enjoyed this Sentinel relic. So
yeah, it doesn't have a ton of targets, but 2 of the best came out in the last 2 months or 3 months. So
has that been enjoyable? Crafting champions now that relics are out and a little more mature in the game.
It definitely helps. Yeah, like this is gonna start sounding self-serving, so I'm just giving a bit of a warning. Because I come from the community of like playing this game, I generally find it a little bit easier to target like this ability is very helpful.
Yeah.
Like because I've run into like I've had a problem with that in war. Somebody else that I've sent to that fight has had a problem with that in war. Let me fix it, right? And so I find targeting quite easy. That is not true for all of the designers. And they've said before that like some of the other designers have said that's one of the things they appreciate about having like such experienced players on the balance team is that they can talk about good targets. Relics absolutely can provide a good target. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I get what you mean, and everyone's got their strengths, and it's cool that you draw from your experience of playing the game, right? Yeah, and I honestly think that comes through with your champions. So I was noticing my parries weren't landing, so I reset the game.
Yeah, I get that.
So I want to see something here. I'm actually going to wait. Because there's something here that now that we know that Incinerate is going to last so long. Okay, that'll wake you up in the morning. It's past noon here. Do we have any? I'm watching on my little screen here. How much more damage is that doing? I mean, those ruptures look like they were still ticking pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, because your last special 2, you got 6. That one, you got 10.
Hey, Cam, what's up, buddy? I like Power more than Punk. He feels more reliable. I just going back, I couldn't get the mini game in the time I had on Punk. I think if I did, I would have. We were extrapolating a little bit. DL kind of came in and confirmed some of what we were theory crafting. Was that if I had gotten the mini game and it was Battlegrounds because starts with 150 crowd, I would have been enjoying my experience even more. I found him fun to play, but I could definitely see that doing this testing, I feel more proud of my Prowler gameplay than I did with Spider-Punk. Cam, you going to put something up on Twitter or something like that? I always enjoy your analysis. Did you test Spider-Punk already? Yeah. We did a very quick testing of Deathless King Groot. Wasn't a ton to test, honestly. In fact, Deathless King Groot hits harder than I thought they would. So they are very much on the table for me if I pull a 2/3 Cosmic Gem from 8.4. What's up, Scott? How you doing, bud? Alaric. Oh, and Moxie probably already left. It is great to see you, Moxie. Moxie was like one of my first viewers ever. How is Prowler versus Onslaught? Prowler's metal, isn't he?
Correct. It works because he doesn't crit, but you still have that 15% chance, and you can't dash to get rid of them. And if even one neuro is on you, then you can't cause miss.
And shows where I don't know this kit that well. Why do we want to cause the miss again?
You don't have to, but like you can do if you're not quite to your special 2. The falter is long enough that against some champions you can do the whole miss, let them hit in, then do like start another combo and then throw the special 2. It provides you flexibility for your openings and stuff.
That's kind of what's happening to me right now. Is now that I'm actually playing him, we're on call, we're doing this. He feels a lot more flexible than I thought he would. Kind of too, I think this was your original point, was that a lot of that like stress of hitting these windows and things like that was going to be due to Battlegrounds and a time pressure.
Right. And I also want to make the point that like, before I start saying this is not at all an indictment of Karate Mike. Like, he does his job with the deep dive very well, but certain champions do not translate well to that format. And I think Prowler is one of those. And that's because, like, the deep dive has that rotation section. And while Mike is very much a smart enough player to know that there's more flexibility, he has to pick a rotation and show it off. And then that becomes the one rotation. And so then the more times he says, and after you do this, and then while this is active, do this.
Yeah.
Every time he has one of those clauses, people start freaking out. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way to play that character. And it's why I so often do not look at rotations, because I just don't... I think too much of that is made in our community. And yeah, I think learning how to be flexible with Prowler is a very large part of the mastery. You don't just want to try and set up one rotation and then use that and only that in a bunch of different fights.
It's definitely true. And, I love Mike too. And I get it. He's got like 8 minutes to try to showcase a champion.
Yeah, I think he's doing his job really well. That job just doesn't work for all characters.
It's why like those videos are great to watch. It's also then good to go watch analysis from various YouTubers, right? Because they're all going to come at it from different angles. We talked for like 20 minutes on what I'm trying, like my analysis. I didn't realize that's why you want them at 0 power, is because the heavy only lands incinerate at 0 power. How I hadn't caught on to that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the start a fight or after specials.
Cam, I don't feel comfortable putting those out about those two. Didn't get to test them enough. Fair. I definitely know what that feels like. There's a reason why I didn't have a video. I think for the first champion of either of the last 2 months, it's just like I just didn't have time. I didn't have the time, and why I don't have a. I'm not going to have a video on, at least not now, of Prowler or Spider Punk. I would want to get their gameplay and stuff down significantly more. Yeah, I initially thought he was going to have a really tight window with this whole SP1, SP2 rotation. I think Nick Cam's not talking about about Prowler. I did end up loving Destroyer because of everything he needed to line up and everything, especially with the frequent interception, how important they are. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of that. I liked Destroyer. I'm finding them harder to use than I thought they would be. But like Nick136 has put out some pretty good Destroyer stuff. So, I mean, Nick's an extremely skilled player, but still. All right. I honestly feel like my concerns about Prowler have been more than answered. No, I mean,
Yeah, he's awfully good.
you know what I am wondering about with him is in Battlegrounds, and not that everything's Battlegrounds. I just think Prowler's good. Like my whole, is Prowler too hard to use? I'm thinking no. And are his windows too tight? I'm thinking no. And is the energy damage with the ruptures going to prevent you from using him against a lot of his targeted matchups? No. So once that's been cleared, the utility's clearly there, the damage is clearly there. This is going to be another second tier champion, I think. In general, when we do our general tier list. Now what I'm moving on to in Battlegrounds is, Bitter has shown us a lot of really awesome stuff.
Right.
None of them, though, if I remember correctly, are like these 35-second kills. And stop, hold on before you're like, they don't all, because they don't all need to be 35-second kills, right? Because that's why we have the general tier list, is to be like, not every champion's a Battlegrounds nuke, then that's good.
Prowler is, though.
Do you think he is? Okay. So
yeah.
Okay. Because that's what I was wondering, is part of what makes him so valuable is his versatility. The various meta defenders he can take. And I wonder if people will feel better about taking in their super idealized, concentrated counter. Although I feel like the top end players really want that versatility. So even if what I was saying ended up being true, they would probably still go to, I don't know. We'd have to ask those guys.
Yeah, it's a. I'm going to start on a tangent if I keep going there.
No, well, I mean, you're the expert. I would love to hear from you.
I'm just starting to wonder because, if you play Magic: The Gathering, which I know I point to a lot, but it is the draft format. It's the game that involves decks that I'm most familiar with, and there are different formats with different deck sizes, right? I feel like all of these things we're talking about Battlegrounds, a lot of the conversations talk about Battlegrounds as a static mode. As a, this is what Battlegrounds is, it's just going to be that, and only that forever, and all champions are just, worth it or not against that, and it's a bummer when someone just doesn't work for Battlegrounds, because that's so important, and it will never change. But it will. It's still a relatively young game mode. Think about what War or AQ looked like 2 years ago. Or
even just something we've talked about. First of all, sorry, I want to go back because that was so satisfying. That loop, the use of his abilities felt very natural. Yes, nodes, different defenders, things could mess with it. But I'm thinking about Bishop right now, who would be someone I would want to use him against. I think that's exactly what it's going to look like. There's no, let's say that loop doesn't kill him, then what do you do? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Going.
You do the same loop again?
Yeah, pretty much.
But now it's going to take me a whole minute, DLL. That doesn't. Okay.
Except it probably won't.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they probably have 15% health left, and you're gonna land enough not crits while they're faltered with your basics, that they're just going to die from that.
What you guys are seeing is that I came into this really thinking Prowler was going to be much harder to play, like significantly. I don't think, tomorrow I have a Battlegrounds tournament match. You're not going to see me with Prowler in my deck taking out tough defenders. That is not going to happen, because I think with any of our current champions, it takes a while to get to learn them and know them and handle nodes and defenders and things. But I'm very much seeing that. I don't think you need to be Bitter Steel, a player of that caliber, to get good results with a Prowler.
Yeah, I don't know how much you were around from my last Battlegrounds stream, but like I was using Prowler in the victory track, and I think I said 4 or 5 times, I need to get better at this matchup. I need to get better at this matchup. I was still winning with him more often than not.
He's got a bit of a defensive threat too. I want to read what Cam's. Hopefully everyone knows Cam. Follows Cam on Twitter. Extremely smart player. I do think Prowler is going to be decently easy to shut down, though. Opponent is immune to Ruptures, immune to Incinerate, or Debuff Sugar, or immune to Power Drain, and he's completely... That's a good point. That, like...
I mean, that's describing balance, right?
Yeah. No, but I mean, that's part of why, Cam's smart. I mean, I think it's important, right? Like, one of the things we talked about is, like, I don't want to sell anyone on a champion. I want to provide them analysis. I want to provide, like, do I think you're going to be able to use them? And so I do, and right now I'm like slobbering all over Prowler. So, you know what I mean? Like, I take that as a bit of a look in the mirror and be like, okay, here's what you're putting out right now. So I want to be clear. Prowler's like, again, easier. He's not easy, but I think he's easier to use than I thought he was. And I can see as you get used to him, again, I see a second tier champion. I see a very, very strong, I think this was your point, DLL. That right now will be very valuable in Battlegrounds. And Battlegrounds is going to evolve. Like, I was extremely sick almost the whole Battleground season, and then I was traveling the seasons before that for a season or two. And while all that happened, and we were keeping an eye on it and reflecting it, but it wasn't until I did this last Battlegrounds ranking video that I was like, you know what? I'm just not placing my Mystic monsters like I used to. These other defenders will come out. As a result, champions like CGR are being used. And so it's going to ebb and flow, right? The metas and things change. 100% my issue when people talk about Battlegrounds, it literally changes twice a month. Also true, Quinn. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not
where I was going there real quick was just I foresee a future where Battlegrounds has different like size categories. Like, I could very easily see our current 30 champ deck version ending up being like the focused sweaty tournament one, but then like more often maybe people play a 40 or 45 champ version.
Oh, that'd be fun. Especially,
obviously the drafts would be different, right? Like, you wouldn't just only be seeing as many options as you are now and needing to pick down to 7. Like, things would change, but the mode has room for that flexibility in its future, I think. Because I know we've talked about this, Vega. You and I have both run into, like, one of the things we like about more focused, less generalized metas is that it helps us cut people from our decks because we have a lot more than 30 viable options.
Yeah, we have very mature just by virtue of having played so long and, purchased a deal or two along the way, over the course of 10 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Small businesses.
Yeah. The other voice is DLL, champion designer, Daddy Longlegs. It's funny. I've learned I need to introduce you as that now. It was a couple months ago that I was like, oh, people don't know, like, oh, Vega and DLL are friends. Like, they, like, it's people know you this other way now. So I purposely paused it here because we got to actually see what that loop does. And I think these guys have a 700 health, right? We've done 44% of his health. He has 671,000. I'm not great at math, but I think that's about 300,000 health.
Sounds about right.
Class advantage. Okay. I'm good. Like now, I think I've come away with enough to where I can feel like I can speak relatively intelligently on them, give people a good base idea of what to expect. Definitely put them on a tier list once we've sent this to you all being the Illuminati. Any other questions or anything, guys? Yeah, we're approaching almost 2 hours, so I should tune out soon. Prowler, good. Yeah, Cam, Cam, is he in your deck? Are you? If you don't want to say, I understand. I don't know if you're in some tournaments or anything like that. When are you doing the rest of 8.4? Probably not till tomorrow, bud. Trust me, I want to get it done, and it might not even be tomorrow because of the Battlegrounds match. This is the ultimate like crux for me, or the difficult decision is like, do I stream and really have fun and hang out with you all, or do I do a video in that time? I want to get 8.4 done, so I'm probably going to be streaming a bit more, and then we'll get videos out. That's again part of why I want to get it done. Cam really benefits from the SIG. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even check in on that.
Yeah, he's got that Thor scaling.
Whoa, 3,375 critical rating. Is that because of that's a lot?
Yeah, and it's like 800 at 120. I hate to like discourage anyone, but like you kind of he's fine unduped, or you want him SIG 200. There's not a whole lot of difference.
I hear you enjoying more Punk or Prowler because Battlegrounds is shoot. I already have Prowler, so I'm probably going to end up taking him to rank 5 and ascending. And I think I'm going to not get the Spider-Punk early access. If I hadn't done all of that, I don't know. Because Spider-Punk clearly is a nuke. And that's really nice.
Yeah. I think they're very, very good. For me personally, I'm not going to start talking about, like, you know, overall class balance. But for me personally, my techs were weaker. And so that's what the choice was for me.
So that's also it, right? Like, when I just think about, like, you know, my own account, is science has just been so strong. I have a lot of the really strong 7-star science champions. One of the reasons I haven't taken up Red Guardian yet is because of how strong my science roster is. And I actually really like my techs. I think they've come a long way. They're doing great. It's just
same.
Yeah, because Battlegrounds is kind of my emphasis right now. And I think a super versatile tech champion. He even has a little bit of defensive threat, right? What's his defensive threat? It's like if you punish his specials.
He has non-contact mediums, and he falters if you punish specials, yeah.
Non-contact medium. So he's taking Korg as well, then.
Yeah, and he works okay for Kindred because of that as well. You can use him for a Tuma in a pinch.
Are all his effects passive?
Except the Incinerate, yeah.
Who did you say in a pinch? You can use him for who in a pinch?
A Tuma. You can medium.
Yeah. I think these are two really good champions. We've known that for a long time, though. The design team does a great job. These are two really good champions that add something to the game, and I think I will say this. I think the question was who am I enjoying more? Spider-Punk. I mean, Spider-Punk's fun. Spider-Punk hits you in the, like, you feel it in your veins, you know? But I think, again, that's the design. The designer did a phenomenal job. We'll stick around and answer questions for a few minutes, and then I do have to go. This is a question from Scott Rodriguez. Any matchups you've been surprised Prowler can take?
I mean, honestly, I didn't see the Kindred coming. I had that pointed out to me. And there's complexity to it, don't get me wrong, because, like, so much of his kill rotation is the special 2 that if you just fire that off, then you run right into Kindred's root. There's some finesse.
Yeah, this feels like a champion that actually wouldn't be good against Kindred. I'm not sure I understand how that matchup works out.
The non-contact mediums don't ramp him.
Yeah. That's part of what I like about Shuri versus Kindred. But he still feels like a cash-out champion.
It would not be my first choice. It's more of one of those where it's like, I want to learn the matchup and feel comfortable with it, both because Kindred drives me insane, and because, like, you may not always have a better counter.
Cam saying science is so crowded in my roster. I think that's gonna. I think that's gonna be pretty common with the more mature veteran players. Tech is so dry. Yeah, I hear that. That Tech R3 gem. Sorry, dude. I saw that on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Sassy? Who's taking Sassy? Kindred or Spider-Punk?
Prowler.
Why did I say Kindred?
Spider-Punk sounds fine against Sasquatch too, but Prowler is, I'm pretty sure, who we meant.
Think this has been Roller Coaster Vegas getting the early access. He isn't getting them. What is he gonna do? Then he's getting it. Now he's not. I can't take it. Stink always makes me laugh. Yeah, Kindred and and Korg and Sassy. Thanks, Cameron. Nice to know. I mean, that's kind of what I'm talking about though with Prowler. We were talking about versatility. It's like any champion. I'm not spoiling anything. Myself, Misty K, and the whole Illuminati are working on some infographics to help everyone out a little bit. And one of it will be like, in a pinch, who do you use? And if Prowler's showing up as a possibly effective option for Kindred, Korg, and Sasquatch, I mean, when you kind of to your point earlier, DL, if you can only put 30 champions in your deck, and there's someone who's doing that on top of what, like, I mean, their targeted matchups would be Bishop, obviously. Who else, actually? Bishop?
Domino. Arguably the best Domino counter in the game. And decent at Maw, because immune to Falter.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who would even be... maybe Shuri, because her specials can't be evaded, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, Prowler is a little bit weird as far as targets, because, and this happens sometimes, some of what you're seeing in the kit is one of the designers really hating fighting certain characters. And this comes up from time to time, right? Like, Black Cat exists because Mimic hated fighting Thing. It comes up, but some of Prowler is that particular part of the duo that designed him hates Domino and hates Maw. That's some of the utility flows from that.
I think that's really cool too. Like, I understand, all of you have different desires to be public and things like that, or different thresholds, or whatever the term is, or interest in it. I think learning things like that are really fun. I never am good at predicting what the community is going to do or not do. But as me personally, I'm like, okay, that's really fun. I like knowing that. Cam saying, Bitter took a Sassy with Prowler. It was so smooth, and he could have squeezed even more out of him. Okay, let's answer. I said we answer a few more questions, then we got to go. So, is Mantis worth a rank 3? That's the gem I pulled from 8.4, and I also awakened her. I'm not sure where I stand on Mantis right now. About 2 weeks ago, I would have said absolutely. My thoughts on skill are in a very transformative state, and I hate to make it sound like all esoteric. Is esoteric the word? Or vague, or sound like a moody teenager on it. But recently I awakened my crossbones and taken him up to rank 2, and I feel like I am just in a complete lack of certainty on those higher first and second tier skill champions, especially as it relates to Battlegrounds. Is she worth it?
that.
Yes. Would I advise that without knowing more? I don't know. What do you think?
Are you good with her?
That's
In my opinion, that's the most important question.
Yeah.
If you're good with Mantis, there are few better rank 3s in the game. If it's someone that you're like okay with and you can kind of squeeze some value out of, then maybe, kind of to Vega's point.
And just to kind of get an idea on like what Mantis can do, it was at the end of the Alliance War Showcase stream I did. There was a Photon boss, and the first time I took her, I played terribly. It didn't go well. The second time I did it, we soloed. I have a rank 2 Mantis. I was not running power backs, and it was just smooth, just butter smooth. Like, that's a big deal, I think, for a character to be able to do that. I'm currently debating whether to use a 2-3 tech on Prowler or Warlock. So this is a great question because it kind of hits to what I'm still struggling with a little bit. Is I know Warlock's good. I know where like I can take Warlock. I think Warlock's been around for so long. They have not really fallen off, in my opinion. I don't know how they would or could. Prowler, I'm having more difficulty. I don't want to get too excited about Prowler because I find myself wanting to say Prowler. But then I think about the tier list we're going to put out in a week or whatever, and Warlock's going to be rated higher.
Yeah.
That's a 7-star, obviously. So I'm going to assume they're not Awakened Quinn. And Cam and DL, I feel like we're both saying that the Awakened ability is super nice.
I would still take Prowler up on Awakened. Because the thing is that, like, if you think back to one of your earlier fights where you didn't get the Falter up,
Yeah.
and you got 6 ruptures just purely on dice rolls,
Yeah.
if those 6 ruptures are benefiting from a 7-star rank 3's stats, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, that's true. So the SIG.
Plus stat focus. Stat focus is going to make up for like low sig.
You know, we didn't even test. I just was so. I like him so much more than I thought. I didn't even think to start testing him with. I mean, can you imagine that with a 20% Fury buff? If you're running him with a Gladiator?
Yeah. He's definitely one of those that responds well to attack increases.
All right. He also takes the pig good. That's right, because he has. We didn't even cover this. The SP1, yeah, the mediums can't be evaded, and then the SP1 provides what's it called, like a pursuit passive?
Right. Pursuit is to evade as vigilance is to miss.
Jeez. But so then this becomes a question, and this is where, just again, peek behind the curtain on the, you know, when we do the conversations for these tier lists is, so wait a minute, is Prowler better than Warlock? Like, is Prowler
I think this is one of those, like, it always depends on what your roster needs.
Yeah.
I do think Prowler has a higher ceiling and a lower floor.
Prowler's a higher similar. Yeah.
Because Warlock cannot do some of the things that Prowler can do. But Prowler's fail case is also much lower than Warlock's, which is just, you know, parry heavy, parry 5-hit combo to special 2, and things generally die.
At the risk of setting us off the rails, I'm still going to do this. Chuck, I hear you, bud, and I know Chuck for I think years from comments and stuff. So Chuck's got a sense of humor and all that. So take it with a massive grain of salt, like similar to how you interpret me, DLL. So Chuck's saying, wishing they didn't nerf Deathless King Groot's heal so much. I understand what you're saying. It's nowhere near the power level of regular King Groot's heal. However, if that was the trade-off that was made in order to get what feels like a significant damage increase, I'm not kidding when I say, like, I think, I mean, I have to really look. I want to finish 8.4 and see what I'm really sitting on rank ups wise materials. I think King Groot's definitely going to rank 2 for me. And if I pull Cosmic 2-3, I think right now it's either him or Vox, and it's probably going King Groot because at least he has a massive health pool, and I could maybe throw him on Battlegrounds defense where outside of a massive mistake from someone, Vox isn't going to do anything for me on defense. So I hear you, but I really, personally, if that was the trade-off that was made, was take down some healing and throw it into what feels like a huge buff to damage, I'll take that in a heartbeat.
It was more than worth it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you're trying to, like, heal through nodes that chunk away 50% of your health because you're not playing by the rules that the fight's trying to set out for you, sure, you're gonna feel it. But most of the time using King Groot, you're just sitting at full yellow bar anyway. And, like, if you're trading infinite health for infinite -1 health in exchange for being able to take Battlegrounds fights, like, if anything, we should have nerfed it more.
No nerf zone. No nerf zone. Unless it's bullseye on defense, then we're very supportive. Heinrich, thank you so much, bud. That's a really cool, that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, I know we're a little different around here, but we try to do it well, what we do. Scott is taking it Prowler. Cool, that's awesome, dude. I also know that is if I had a 7-star Prowler, I would take them up over Warlock too, because I'd be much more excited about it. And then Heinrich picking up from where I tuned in. I'm a very big fan of Warlock. He is brilliant. My go-to bullseye counter. I had not thought of that. That's interesting. But this goes to kind of like what we've talked about, is people are going to learn how to use their champions and how to take these tougher interactions and defenders with them. So that's awesome. Rye, no touchy bullseye. Rye, I thought you retired. Although I appreciate the view. Thank you for thumbing up and subscribing. All right, Juan, I apologize, buddy. I got to bounce. We, as usual, streamed longer than I intended because I have fun with you all, and then I get one of my friends on call here too, and it's a blast. Massive thank you to everyone. I will go back and put timestamps at my best to on the various champions in case you're interested in going back and listening. But we kind of like all of them. I don't know how else to phrase it other than that. Massive thank you to Big Evil for the donation, and thank you DLL for stopping by. It really helped speed up the learning process on Prowler there for sure.
Yeah, man, of course.
All right, thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.